And we are live. Hello everybody and welcome back to ALR Tier 1 for round 11 here at Monza. Here in Italy, always produces a good race in league racing from what I've seen. So especially, I mean, if you've been watching, you know what these guys have been doing all season with the racing. Always exciting to watch them. So hopefully they can live up to it and make Italy another great race, as it should be, because everyone gets the slipstream here, everyone gets a bit of DRS, because there's no way you're gonna drop someone quick enough, and it's impossible to fully drop someone unless you've really got the pace over them. But if you've got that much pace over them, you probably shouldn't be next to each other on track, right? So yeah, it's hopefully going to be another great one here, and championship getting a bit closer at the front as well. Obviously we still have Tambi out in the lead, but Ladamala is hunting him down. If you missed what happened last race, I heavily suggest checking that one out. It was very big in terms of the championship and a great race once again. I think that one was Abu Dhabi, so not usually a place you'd expect a good race, but we got one anyway. Okay. So 15 drivers in the lobby, so we're only waiting on a few more. We do have a different host today. Boomer's hosting today, which is might explain why not everyone's managed to get here yet. Obviously need people to come in and add him as a friend, and obviously we've all seen what the recent updates done to PlayStation, so that might not be so easily done. I know some people have had their friend lists broken. I know I did yesterday. The new party system is looking questionable. I get why they did it, but I can't help it. The old one's just going to be easier and a bit better, really, isn't it? Like, I think there should be an option to do it this way, but I think the old way is just easier for everyone, really. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, they can always change it back if that's what people want. So it just depends on PlayStation, really. Anyway, that's got absolutely nothing to do with ALR right now. So what we're actually going to do is, because I actually forgot to do it last race, so I'm sorry for that, but what I'm going to do at the beginning of this race is read out the current championship order, because it's getting close, and we are now well over halfway through this season. I mean, how many races are left? 5 races left after Italy, 6 including Italy, and I mean we've got tracks in there like the Netherlands next week, which see, I hated the Netherlands before, but I did a league race there recently and I don't hate it as much. Still not my favourite track, still would probably in my bottom half of the list of favourite tracks. Same with Vietnam, really, but it was alright. I enjoyed racing at the Netherlands, which is saying a lot considering it's hard to overtake. And that week that I raced there, I was very ill. I had a big headache and was at times about to faint. So for me to say I like that track is quite significant, I think. But then we've got Belgium, Australia, Mexico and Brazil, 3 of those tracks I like. One of them I don't. Guess which one I don't like. May start with an M. So yeah, six races left. I think I have waffled long enough. Let's go find this standings. So at the top of the standings is still Tambi, who has 147 points at the moment. This means that he is 46 points ahead of Ladamala, who is in second with 101. Stan is now in third with 93 points, only 8 behind Ladamala, so Ladamala still has to be very careful, because another bad race for him, as we saw he had in Baku. Was it Baku he had a bad race? I think it was Baku. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Because he had a drive-through. He had a bad race in Baku, so if he has another bad race at any point in the season, Stan could be there to take the spot from him. Same thing with Hyped, who is 81 points, 12 behind Stan, 20 behind Ladamala. So if Ladamala has a retirement, Stan and Hyped gets a win, he's put himself right back in that hunt. Obviously, this all depends on what Vilho does as the session's about to start. 5th place is Boomer, 6th is Vilho, 7th Swen, 8th King David, who hasn't actually been in the last 2 races. Sorry, the last race was Azerbaijan. Abu Dhabi was a while ago. I don't know why I thought of that. Strange. Yeah. He hasn't been here in Azerbaijan or Singapore, so the last race he was actually competing in was Vietnam. So he's dropped quite a bit down the order from where he probably should be. Polhui P9 and Wilt P10. Twanach 11th, Ishtar 12th, a big drop from where he started in this season. Husam P13, RDO P14. He's going to want to catch his teammate before the end of the season. He is currently 8 points behind his teammate, so it's possible. Town P15, Johto P16, Joe P17, Rudy P18, Skelzy, whatever, P19, after only one race where he finished in 4th in Baku. Very nice from him. The Hailstone P20, Pesky 21, Dylan 22, Doogidoo 23, Oswaldo 24, KDB FTW 25, and Lord Alam, who had his first race in Singapore and haven't seen him since, I think he's reserve, was P26 in the standings. So as we wait for drivers to start their laps, obviously they got time for setups and everything, as one of the McLarens is already on the way out, one of the Renaults is already on the way out along with a Red Bull, so that'll be Hyped. Yet again the first driver out on track. We can ride on board with him once he gets out of the pit lane. Come on, let it happen, come on game, let me switch camera. There we go. There we go. Okay, and what I'm going to do quickly is find the interview lounge. So, question 1 this week. After a run of 3 street tracks, we have 3 European tracks coming up. Which is your favourite European track on the calendar? Number 2, who will be on the podium this week at Monza? Number 3, what would you think the pole time will be this week? Number 4, what games other than F1 are you playing right now? Number 5, how many DNFs and safety cars this week? And number 6, who will be driving for Red Bull next season in real life? So Ishtar says 1, his favourite track is his favourite European track is Belgium. 2, the podium this week would be Stan, Ladamala and Hyped. Number 3, he says he never knows. 4, he's been playing Football Manager. 5, he thinks there's going to be 4 DNFs and 2 safety cars. And he says number 6, Verstappen and a number 2 driver who doesn't matter at this point. Kenny says 1, don't like any of them, but most likely to be Belgian. Strange, how do you not like any of the European tracks? As Hyped now starts his lap. Number 2, he says Tambi, Ladder, Hyped. Number 3 says high 118. I don't think so, mate. I'm thinking some of these guys can get mid to low 18s. No, I definitely think that. He says 4 Rocket League, NASCAR Heat, GTA. 5 3 DNFs, 1 safety car. 6 he says Verstappen and Perez. Polwy says for number 1 his favourite European track is Grazie Ragazzi Forza Ferrari. I'm going to take that one as he likes Italy. Number 2 he says Tambi, Disconnector Mala, and AI Polri, as Baku did bring up very many memes such as disconnect skulls. It also brought up AI Polri and disconnect ladder mala, or disconnect mala, as Polri puts it. Lots of memes coming out of that race. As I'm actually going to just stop the interview for a second to watch the end of Pipe's lap. What's it going to be? It's 119.3 to start us off here, and I'm going as VS70 Hyperrevs puts in a 119.2 to follow them. So I'm going to stick by my statement that they can get into the 118s alone to mid 118. There's Ladder Mallow with 120.1. That's quite a way off the pace. It's not what we usually see from him at what I believe is his home race. So he is on mediums though. Just seeing that he is on mediums. So that will be very interesting to see come the end of this session, because that's a very good time for the medium tyre. As Stan Ramazer with a 119.1 puts himself in provisional pole. Very nice from him. Sven 121.0 on mediums, not too bad. We have John now that's school. I think he's the next one to cross the line. Yes, he is. In the other Mercedes. So we'll just run on board at the end of this lap while I quickly finish off the interviews. Kenny says, Polri says, number 3, Kimi, you are on pole. I don't think that's a time, but okay. Number 4, he says, FM, P2W, FIFA, pay to win FIFA. I don't know what F, oh, Football Manager, of course. 5, 3, and hopefully 0. He thinks 3 DNFs and 0 safety cars. Number 6, he says, Max and another worse driver, because I'm not going to say the word he actually wrote. RDO says Belgium's his favourite. He thinks the podium will be Stan, Tandy and Wilt. He says he thinks it will be 118.1 will be the pole time as he retires from the session, so he's not getting the pole time. 119.4 from Scorsese there. Twanash. He's probably not going to... What's he doing? Hello. Hold on. Joe will be next across the line. He says he's been playing Football Manager and Rocket League. He says 3 DNFs for 2 safety cars, and he says Red Bull next year will be Max and AI Polri. 119.8 there from Joe, putting him P7 as it stands. Of course, only 9 drivers to set a lap at the moment. I don't really know what everyone else is up to. But they ain't out on track, that's for sure. Ishtar is. Ishtar's going to... he's invalidated his lap. Who's ahead? Rudy's there. Okay, Rudy will be the next driver to actually set a lap. But he's also on an out lap. So it will be a while till we get to see another lap go up on the board. But we're going to watch it anyway. Let's see what you guys in chat are saying. Actually, I've been pinged. What have I been pinged for? Oh, Tier 2 stream is also now on, for anyone who is waiting for that. Of course, this one's better, so you should watch this one, but, you know, just in case you wanted to know. And you definitely want to be here, because you don't want to be watching the Esports Pro series either, because that's boring. This is more interesting than that. As we see her big jump there from Rudy, who set a purple sector 1. Scholl says hyped 11Gs, who's contention for the championship. Wish I was there, says Kenneth, and Logie Bear says audio crash. All things we know about. P9 for Rudy with a 120.4 on the soft tyre there. Very nice. F1 2021 should have Adelaide. As someone destroys the polystyrene board. I think that's Rudy destroys the polystyrene board. Yikes. Twanach. On a lap. As is some slightly more interesting individuals. That sounds really mean. Hyped coming towards the end of his second lap here on the soft tyre. Let's see what he's able to do as he comes out of Parabolicus, minimising the distance to the line on the right there. He's going to go provisional pole with a 118.7. Very nice there from the Renault driver. Next will be Hyperevs, who does not go for that same line, sticks a bit more left. It seems to have worked for him because he's put a 118.6, a whole 10th up on Skulls there. Very nice laps from both of those guys. Now here is his teammate Stan. Very aggressive there through Ascari, very wide on exit, very nice to see. Ladamala, of course, is now also on a flying lap, so we'll probably switch to him next. Actually, we'll probably switch to Swem, then Ladamala. Let's see what is Stan able to do. He's able to peel into the pits, is what he's able to do there. Ruining our fun. Swen, what's he able to do here? He's going to go P6 with a 119.5. Good stuff from the Alpha Tower. Ladamala a little bit further down than we usually see him, but he did set his first lap on the medium tyre, so hopefully this one is a fair improvement. We can probably get into provisional pole here, I think. Crosses the line, and he doesn't. He goes P4 with an 18.9. So one of 4 drivers to make it into the 118s at the moment, but he's 4th out of 4 for that one. What happened to RDO? He crashed Oswaldo on his own. RIP, yeah. Okay, who's going to be next? It's going to be Tambi. Coming through the exit of Parabolica now. Is he able to do? He's P6 with a 119.4. He'll be hoping for better from his second run, I'm sure of that. Twanach, invalidated lap. Q-Sam's in an out lap. Boomer is on a fly. Actually, who's in front of him? Pole, who's in front of him? Ishtar's on a fly. Stan is getting carried by his new teammate. 0.5 of a second between them so far this session, and Ishtar is invalidated. It's been sat behind that racing point all lap. I think that's a case for blocking, maybe, which would be very sad to see. We don't like blocking in qualifying, people. Blocking is bad. Please don't block. Coming to cross the line now, Boomer. What's he able to do? It's P7 with 119.4, just behind Tambi. 0.02 of a second behind Tambi, and just ahead of Skolzy there, about 0.05 of a second ahead of Skolzy. Very close stuff from those 3 at the moment. It always happens in Italy. What always happens in Italy? I don't know what you're on about. Coming to the last corner, there's a very slow Merc with a very slow racing point behind. Not much going on there. Just some people starting their laps. Stan on an out lap already. He's been back into the pit and back out again. I don't know if he's got enough time to do 4 runs in the session, but He's going to try it anyway. Lock up into turn 1 there. Gonna get a better exit off as good an exit off of turn 2 as he can. 90 people, good turnout. It very nearly had a full turnout here, but 19 is still very good. Purple in sector 1 there from Stan, looking promising so far. He's attacking the second chicane, coming into the Lesmos now. He wants to keep as tidy as possible through here. He has got yellow flags up ahead, so I don't know what this is going to do to his lap. Hopefully those cars can get out of the way quickly. He's going to try and take the slipstream there from the racing point as we get the worst angle going. Bitter grass and entry, but he's invalidated his lap. Did he cut the first part of Ascari? I don't know. What I do know though is that Bolhui's on a lap, but he's not anymore because it's invalidated. The next person we can look at is Hyperrevs, who currently is in provisional pole position. Oh, Wilt spun and took out Rudy. Not sure how I feel about that one. It was just the just the biggest corner cut I think I've ever seen. He doesn't have a front wing, so I wonder, don't really know what happened to him in his lap there, but it wasn't good. Let's see as Town comes to start his lap. I tell you what's more interesting than Town starting his lap is Scoolsy coming to end his lap. Scales, I don't know how to say this, but Scalesy I think it is, but that's just kind of awkward to say. Just call him Scale, C. Let's just call him 999. I think he's going to pit with that line. He is going to pit with that line. Look, your boy knows his stuff. Let's go back to Town. Town's always interesting to look at. Not usually for the right reasons, but we'll give him a chance this time. And he left the session. Why did I have to say it? I don't know if I cursed him or not there, but unfortunately he's left the session. Wilt will be the next one to cross the line on a flyer, I think. He has got the disconnected Town in the way though. Very nice with the Lesmos, as there's got 2 cars ahead for traffic. That will not be good, giving him dirty air. 1 car gets out of the way and then doesn't. I don't know what these 2 guys ahead are doing, because I don't think neither of them are on flying laps. So they will need to get out of Wilt's way sooner rather than later. Not the best line, he definitely needed to cut a bit more into into Ascari there. So he will lose time compared to some of the other guys with that little sequence of corners, but can he make it up throughout the rest of the lap? Coming through Parabolica now, very wide out onto the green AstroTurf. Everyone does it. Across the line, I think it was an invalid lap. Sick. Who is next across the line? It's going to be Tammy. Tammy comes across the line, minimises the distance. He's invalidated his lap, so he cannot improve this time round. Ladamala starting his lap. Stan, no. Hyperrevs came to end his lap. Improved, didn't improve, I don't think. I think maybe Hyperrevs started his lap actually, because I don't think he would have been able to get around that quickly. Ishtar finishing a lap. It's a 119.5. It is an improvement, but it doesn't change his position, unfortunately for him. Joe starts his lap. Let's see, Rudy I think is not ending his lap. His teammate Polpy was doing something, I'm not sure what he was doing. Joe is now ending. No. Scorsese ending his lap. It will be Hyped, will be the next person to cross the line, I think. Yeah, Hyped's coming to cross the line. Finally found someone who's actually coming to cross the line, and is 7 seconds down. Okay then. 7 seconds down. Nice. Ooh, that's a spun Hyperevs. As Stan finishes lap to go P4. I wonder what happened. I think that's the exit of Ascari. Hyperevs has dropped it. Maybe pushing a bit hard. I think he managed to get out of most people's way. He's blocked. He's put Istra in the wall. And that was fully intentional. Morgan with the fastest lap of the session at 118.2. Hyperevs will probably be getting in a bit of trouble for that one. It was also caught on stream. He might have been angry, but that's not an excuse to do that to other drivers. Now moving on to some slightly more positive things. We have Polwy coming to end his lap. And he's yet to set a time, but he has to start last because of that one. See, I think Hyped is coming to end his lap, and he's put it in the gravel on the exit of Parabolica. It's not even on the exit of Parabolica, it's midway through Parabolica on the edge. Did he just outbrake himself? Or is he I don't know what's happened there, but he will be the last driver to cross the line because Twanach just got past him. He goes into the... Please don't go into the... Please don't do this. He's done it. And now we have to wait for a whole 1 minute and 25 seconds because this game is glitched. Still broken. How long has this game been out? Since July? So what, 3 months, and they haven't broken the fact that the session doesn't end when everyone's finished? Nice one, Cody's. Please, everyone who's in the pit, just retire. That is Hyped in town. Just please retire. It'd be appreciated. Please. There we go. There we go. As we see, a Racing Point absolutely. I think that's Polwy absolutely killed the McLaren in front. So, quick rundown. So your pole sitter is Morgan with a lap I just didn't get to see because we were too busy looking at Hyperevs taking someone else out. That was 4/10 quicker than P2 time for Hyperevs. So he'll be very happy with that one and looking forward to a good result in this race. Hyperevs P2 was a 10th up on Hyped Skulls, who will be looking to get a good start and move his way up into the top 2 positions. Stan will be starting 4th, followed by Ladan Mala, a drop in form from normal, usually our pole sitter P5 this week. Husam P6, Skolzy P7, 8th is Swen, 9th Boomer, 10th Joe. Tambi, Ishtar, Rudy, Twanach, Vilho, Wilt, Ardio, Polwy and Town will all be getting a free choice of tyres in the rest of this session. You could have only done a 118.3 if you didn't bottle. So you were still pretty safe for P2 then. Not quite would have been P1. As lads, it's raining. I don't think I've seen this one before. Raining in Formula 1? No. Have I actually seen rain in this? Has it rained this season? At all? I don't think it has. That's mad. The first time we get to see rain. Well, don't know what to expect then. Tier 3 has it a lot. Yeah, I'm talking about Tier 1. And Skull says, oh my god, that's my win. You never know. The guys ahead of you could also be pad players. That would be very close if they are. But anyway, let's see how this plays out. 2, 1, let's go. And here we go, get ready for the absolutely exciting, the most impressive part of any race I think you'll find. Really, the formation lap. Hyped nearly drops it off the start. He won't be hoping for a start like that come the race. As Morgan and Hyperevs both just They just missed turn one, I think. Morgan just about able to get it back onto the track. Hyperrevs, not so easily, has to go over the sleeping policeman there. So, this could make for an interesting start if this is any indicator to what's going to happen. Just quickly, I'm going to take a look at what tyres everyone's on, as everyone always shouts at me for not doing it, but I don't think you'll be surprised to find that everyone is starting on the Inters. I know, shocked. Maybe someone could have been brave and started on the slicks, but I don't know about that looking at it. And if not the slicks, then maybe the wets, but I also doubt that. But anyway, everyone's on the Inters. I know, shock horror. Get over it. I don't even need to put telemetry on because it's just going to say 100% ERS. If you're using ERS in the wet, you need to think about that one. I know you can't start on them. I know the game doesn't allow it. I was joking, but thanks, Logie. In case anyone was unaware of the fact that you could not start on any tyre but the Inters because the game would not allow it. And here is the game's absolute AWS insights into the strategy of this race. Again, you'll be very unsurprised to find out that we're one stopping. If anyone two stops, they've either got damage or they're silly. I mean, I guess a no stop would be possible, but your tyres would be dead at the end and it's not really worth it. You're probably just as well off two stopping. Sorry, one stopping. I think one stop is the safe strategy here, and if you're not doing it, then be careful, be prepared. Finally, grid started forming up. This is not the camera. That's the camera angle I want. Can we get it back? That's a good camera angle. So lights will be turning on now. P1 is ghosting for some reason. You saw on the formation lap there that Hyperrevs did leave a big gap. We are away. It's been a good start for Morgan there, but Hyperrevs isn't losing too much time. Ladamala already moved himself up. His teammate Hughesam even more so, as P2 has just disappeared, I think, and that's very forceful there from Hyped, but it wasn't entirely his fault, I don't think. It was a mistake from Hyperrevs that led them to that situation, and that's now put Hyperrevs on the back foot. Under attack from both Alfa Romeos through Curva Grande. There's some damage there for someone, I don't know who. There's yellows at the back, and we have Wilt off the track, and we have yellow sector 1, sector 2 still very close between Hyperrevs and Ladamala here. Ladamala is through going into the first lace mode. Wilt is back moving, but he is dead last, and I think someone else around here might have some damage too. Looking back to the front then, where Morgan is already going defensive on Hyped into Ascari in the wet. Not entirely sure how necessary that one was from the Welsh driver, but he's done it anyway. Of course, in the wet here you have to be careful with track limits. It's very easy to cut and just slide wide or whatever, but we have all the action in the world going on back here, as Ishtar, I think, was caught up a bit and didn't get the good end of things, but he's back past Twanach, and Twanach is all the way down. Is that a spin? There's damage. Twanach has damage. That's what's happened there. Back to the front. Morgan, fast lap. Of course, he's the first man to cross the line in this race. I think he's just about increased the gap enough to protect himself from a move from Hyped here for the lead, but we all know that the wet conditions are unpredictable. I think it's Tambi was the other man to get damage in the beginning. Ishtar, RDO, Swen and Sculsey are also all into the pits for what I'm assuming is front wing changes. It is, and that is bad for RDO. He's having some issues with double stacking there. We have more yellows. I'm not sure what's going on. It's kind of hard to tell. We have a big crash down at the second chicane. Someone's got damage. Lots of very slow moving cars. That's damage from Joe. There's a big pile up going into there. Vilho now alongside in the Lesmo as he backs out going into the second Lesmo, as he probably should. It's not wide enough for 2 cars there, but he's got an opportunity down into Ascari now. What is he able to do here? He's going to have a look as Sven the Men is looking the wrong way at the Cava Grande. That's very close between the 2 racing points and very, very wide from Polby. Is Hyped has left the session. Polby now looking for a move on his teammate Rudy into the Parabolica. Thinks better of it. He's going to wait until the straight where he can get the better drive. Let's invite Hyped. Hyped disconnect. Oof. Hold on. Hype's not helping himself. I think he's appearing offline. Doesn't help me get him back in here fast, does it? I don't think I have him as a friend. What's going on? Hyped underscore. Sorry guys, you will be getting picture back soon. There we go, we've invited him back. Oh, he already got an invite. Oh, cool. So, Hyperevs now with the fastest lap of the race. Hyped has dropped to 5th after that disconnect. Hopefully he's able to get back into that car before he loses any more time or positions. The AI will be using that ERS button like a bitch. Why does Hyped always have leave? Because he's got bad internet connection would be my guess. As he's probably about to lose more than his internet connection here as Stan sails past him in the straight. Very unfortunate for that driver as Sven comes out of the pits lapped already here on lap 4. That AI is going so slowly. That is quite unfortunate. Here we have Ladamala on the tail of Hyperevs. So let's see how this one goes. Hyperevs shown his pace in qualifying, not that I've seen him race before. F1's the only game you disconnect from. Yeah, it's probably because you're connecting to so many people at once. I don't know. Maybe we need a new host. I don't know. There's a Polby gets past Rudy for P8. That is the battle between the 2 racing points there. Ladamala keeping very close into the tail as Boomer now passes. Hyped in the Alfa Romeo. Very good showing so far from Alfa Romeo, P3 and 4 after starting P5 and 6. Not a good start from Stan, who's dropped him down to P5 currently. So we have a full safety car. Sven the Men retires from the race. Let's see what that one's about. On the exit of Ascari, he's retired and his town has followed him. So we have 2 cars now out of this race for this safety car, and I think most drivers are going to stay out. But if I was them, I'd probably take this opportunity to pit and run to the end on one set of inters. But maybe they know something about the weather that I don't. Maybe. As Ardio now comes ahead of where Town crashed and finally gets into P17. We have Wilt in the pits, Tamby in the pits and Scholesy in the pits, doing just what I suggested. You've heard from sources it will be dry. Okay, well maybe they don't need to pit them. This does of course save Hyped from losing any more positions as he's currently P7. From P2 he's lost 5 positions already. any more than that would be quite unfortunate for the Renault driver. Wilt, drive-through penalty, speeding under safety car. Twanach, 5-second penalty, severe collision with Wilt. What are these guys up to? Does Wilt have damage? He does. Unlucky. Nice one, Cody's. Nice to see that your physics engine worked as Hyperrevs is in the pits. Now what's he pitting for? Fresh inters, I'd assume. So he's also taken my advice. Can he hear me? That is the question. Because when I said that, he probably wouldn't have lost as many positions as he will now. Hyped and Rudy also following him in, so people are agreeing with what I said. This is... It feels good, you know, to be a commentator and have the drivers to do the kind of things that you think they should be doing or suggesting. It kind of makes you look like you know what you're on about. But obviously they'll all catch up to the safety car soon enough anyway. You can see it's only just come through the second chicane. It's going super slow. Morgan, Ladamala, Husam, Stan, Boomer, Polby, Vilho all decide to stay out on track though. Coming through the second Lesmo now with our leader. As Wilt also pits, probably for that front wing that I saw earlier. Yes, I know you said you were going to make some moves, Hyped. I'm assuming you're about to make some moves. But fresh inters at this point in the race can't ever be a bad thing. Quick weather report, dry in 10 to 15 minutes. I've got a question for you. If it's dry in 10 to 15 minutes, why'd you pit? Because as far as I can see, you know, you're probably doing about 2.5 minutes a lap, maybe even 3 minutes a lap behind the safety car. So let's say it stays out to lap 7. That will be 2 laps completed under the safety car, so that's 6 minutes of that 10 to 15 minutes. You know, and then it would only be like, I don't know, 5 laps that you'd have to do after that. So that'll take you to like lap 13, 14. So I think it's not too difficult to take the inters to lap 13, 14. So I think those that have pitted might have made a mistake. But obviously when I suggested that they pit, I didn't know it was going to be dry. So I refused to take any blame for anyone that listened to me. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could factor in the fact that it'll take a few laps of the track to fully dry. So then you might be looking at 17, 18. I still think it's possible to take the inters that long though, without stopping. So I know the sentiment, like it's a free pit stop, but especially for the guys at the front where they were all so close, I don't think it was worth stopping. So I think Morgan, Ladamala and Husam and Stan and Boomer and Polby and Vilho have all made the right choice here and are going to benefit quite nicely from it. The only thing I'm thinking with Morgan and Vilho is when that crossover period happens, these two might be too close to one another and might have to double stack. Same with Ladamala and Husam. It's going to be quite difficult for both of those drivers to get the optimal time to stop for dries, so it will probably be a fight between those two to see who's going to get in front before the pit stops, as the light on the safety car has gone green. Yeah, okay, yeah, it all depends on how you do on fresh tyres, but I just kind of feel like it might have just been worth sticking with these guys. So I believe the safety car's coming in this lap. It has got a green light on it. I know that means like back markers can pass, but I haven't seen anything saying it's going away. Morgan's moving a bit too quickly for it to be coming back in. The lights started flashing again, so we're going round for another lap. Why are we going round for another lap? There's literally so far forwards to Wilt. Like, come on. They die after 11 to 12 laps. Yeah, but You've spent time behind the safety car, that will save them a bit. You can go past where they die in these circumstances because everyone else will be doing the same. You know, I just kind of feel like pitting. I have had an alright day. It's been quite wet here where I live, so it's not been great. But nothing too much has happened. I had a uni lecture, whatever. So thank you, I have had a decent day. How's yours been? Well, anyone that's watching, feel free to put how your day's been down below, but especially to Hype to ask the question. You got 6% on those under safety car. I don't know, I just kind of feel like it's not worth the stop. I feel like one less stop is quite good, but if you're saying that, well, trying to see how much tyre wear he's got, 6% of the safety car, that's to go back 3 laps. So the other 5 safety cars coming in, let's say that they've got like 40-55% at the moment. So it could work. I guess if we do end up getting to the later side of that prediction I made, this could work with the fresher tyres. But we'll have to see, because Morgan and Ladamala definitely have good pace, always have done. So it might be fairly easy to carve your way through the likes of Vilho, Polwy, Boomer, maybe Stan and Hugh. But after that it might just get a bit too difficult for it to be worth it. But I don't know, I'll have to wait and see as we wait for Morgan to decide when he wants to bolt. He does have to wait till the safety car is in the pit lane. People behind him getting very impatient as Hugh, Sam and Stan have already traded positions. And we're back on the way, green flag racing. As Hugh Sam is already dropping positions to the cars behind, Polwy ahead as well. Oh, very, very dangerous there from Skulls as he moves across into Hyperrevs. Very crazy down here for these other guys too, but Hyperrevs is back through. He's pushed Vilho off the track, and Skulls is going to try and get back through on the inside there. If we can see it, I think he's made the move, working back on this. But we have Hugh Sam trying to go around the outside of Boomer here, switches to the inside, but Boomer still has the better line, and he's made the move as we come into the first Lesmo. Very nice there as Hyperrevs and Skulls still go side by side, and Skulls is out of the session. Big crash behind. That's involved 3 cars. I think that's Vilho's lost his front wing, and Stan has also got damage. That should be a safety car with where that's crashed. Safety car, full safety car. We are going to be back under the safety car once again as Rudy gets past history, quite importantly. That was a big crash, and I have a feeling it was contact with Hyperrevs that led to that situation, since I saw them side by side only a moment before. That is a shame for Hype 2, as finally looking like things were going his way championship wise, and definitely had the pace here in the wet. There's Hyperrevs has a little shout at Skulls in the chat. We have more people deciding to pit this time around, following the guys who did that on the first lap. I'm sure we'll see in the stewards room everyone's perspective of that one later on. Hype says he didn't know they were too wide. So, very interesting to see how this one looks in the stewards room later on. Safety car. Second one of the session, and we are 10 laps in. Hopefully this one's not as long as the one before, because that one was a little bit silly being through. Was it 3 or was it 4 laps? It went on for a while. Usually in this game you very rarely see them go for more than 2 laps. So yeah. Let's see what it's going to do this time round. If no one pits here, then I'd imagine it'll come in next lap, because the back markers would have caught up by then. While we're under the safety car, let's have a quick look at the position change, because this is now everyone's actual legit positions in this race, especially if it's going to go dry soonish. So Morgan is in the current lead of this race. He's been leading from pole all race. Very nice from him to maintain it. Yeah, Twinatch did a madness on the restart from P14 to P6. I can't remember if he had fresh tyres on or not, but that might have contributed to it. But he's doing very nicely for himself at the moment in this race, as Rudy and Vilho are swapping positions for some reason. Very interesting. There is a glitch in this game with the safety car, where if you overtake in safety car positions, and then the other person tries to re-overtake you, it gives you a penalty. It gives the person trying to re-overtake the penalty instead of the person who overtook in the first place. So as he goes off the track, and that's allowed Vilho back through. So yeah, drivers who have to watch out for that one, as he's off the track again. Hold on. He's on mediums. And Skulls, who just overtook him under safety car conditions, is also on the mediums. And this is exactly what I was talking about with that glitch. Rudy not wanting to take the position back because the game is glitched. Ridiculous. Please, safety car, don't go for another lap. He's in this lap. Okay, good. That was a very late call to bring it in. Final corner, and it's decided to only just come in. So it's quite lucky, as Morgan has already decided to go try and catch someone out. As Polwy has a bad restart. This is going to allow Hyperrevs to get alongside and probably through. But he doesn't quite seem to have the speed that Polwy does in a straight line, which is very interesting. Contact there between the two drivers. No damage for either driver by the looks of it, so it's clean for the minute. Around the outside of the Curva Grande goes Hyperrevs, but this is going to give Polwy the better line. Doesn't matter, he's ahead anyway. Polwy's going to have another little look into the braking zone, but it is not close enough to make that one happen. Very nice move there from Hyperrevs as he makes his way back through the field on the fresher tyres. Shusan moves his way into the points past Wilt. Now that looks like RDO looking for a move into a Scari. Don't recommend that, and he loses a position as a result. So I'm not sure what he was hoping for there, but it's not gone his way. Stan's probably going to look for a move now, but he's actually coming back at Vilho into the Parabolica. Not really the smartest place to make a move. Very difficult to go side by side here, and of course there's a straight right after it as someone comes into the pits. Who's that? Wilt comes into the pits again. With him at the moment. Very, very nice from Stan Rameza there, down past Vilho and RDO on that straight. So he is making gains in this race already. Looking back towards the front here, we have Hyperrevs already on the back of Boomer in the sister car. Let's see what he's able to do. if there's anyone, if he's able to challenge into a Scari, I would not recommend it. 3-second time penalty. That's going to cost him towards the end of this race, but we have Ladamala right on the tail of Morgan too. So Morgan has not had as easy a start as he did before at the beginning of this race, because now he has the very fast Ladamala on his tail, and that is Rudy spinning on the medium tyres. I'm not sure why they've gone mediums at this point. It's totally the wrong call, but they've got to live with it now, as it will drop them back to the very back of the pack. Even Wilt is catching them now. Look how far behind they are from the Mercedes and the Racing Point. But none of that right now. We have Ladamala pulling alongside on the straight. He's going for the lead of this race. He's got the inside line, very nice, where you want to be, as Rudy has spun at Ascari, and it's got the move completed into turn 1, so no need to defend into turn 2. Hyperrevs, unfortunately for him, was not so fortunate, as we still have yellow 3 sectors, yellow flags in sector 3, which will now be cleared as Rudy starts going back up to pace. Has a little look there from Hyperrevs, but it's not close enough to do anything about it. He's going to have to stick behind for a little bit longer. He'll be very frustrated sat on the back of Boomer like this, because he wants to get back through the field up to where Morgan and Ladamala are ahead, because those guys are also on old Inters, which will be suffering round about now from tyre wear. Joe 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So Hyperrevs is going to want to get through Boomer ASAP so that he can get right into the back of those guys before the dry period. Ishtar 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So we're starting to have that period of the race where people are getting their penalties. Looking for a move into Parabolica. Brakes later than the Alpha Tauri. Bit of contact through there. As I said before, very hard to run side by side. He has forced him off the track, so I don't know if that's anything that can be reported later on. But Polhui sets the fastest lap of the race shortly after Hyperrevs did. But yellow flags, and that's for Rudy again, who's in danger of getting lapped if he doesn't pick up the pace or pit. In fact, he will probably pit, as Height finally leaves the session after his earlier incident. Let's see, what kind of gains is Hyperrevs able to get on the cars ahead now that he's in free air? He puts it in the gravel a bit, that won't help him at all, but as you just saw, Morgan ahead did get a 3-second time penalty, putting them back on equal footing. The only driver in the top 3 to not have a penalty now is Ladamala, who is currently leading, so that is not ideal for Hyperrevs and Morgan, who will want to get in front of him if possible, but it just looks like Ladamala is too fast at the moment. Morgan is losing time to Ladamala every lap. Sorry, over this lap he's lost about a second already, and Hyperrevs is struggling to catch Morgan as it stands, but Morgan did just make a mistake, so Hyperrevs has closed the gap again a bit. But he's already, the second you get onto the straight, he's losing time, so I don't know if he's not using his ERS or if he's running higher downforce, but it's not looking great for him, as Ladamala sets the fastest lap of the race so far. 1:30.2 on those 15 lap old Inters. I said they'd still be good at this point. I wasn't believed. Polhui with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, as Tambi moves himself back up into the points, and Stan is side by side with him, trying to not let him get those points. I think Stan's actually the one who's moving up the field on those fresher tyres, so Tambi at the disadvantage here, but there's been contact and Stan's hit the wall. He's paused the game. I don't know if that stopped him from being... He did save himself from getting damaged with that little pause there, but Tambi is actually slowing down and letting him through after that one. Tambi feels that what he did there was unfair. I don't know, to be honest. It was... yeah, it probably was. He just kind of moved across. But fair play from Tambi there to give the position up. Very good sportsmanship from our championship leader there. The gaps at the front, Morgan is losing literally a second a lap to Ladamala now, but Hyper Revs has seemed to found a bit of a rhythm and is catching up to Morgan now. Vilho with a 3-second time penalty in the other McLaren. Ladamala with the fastest lap of the race once again with the 1:30.1. No one is able to match him here. As Boomer pits from P8. And RDO follows him in. What are they pitting for? Mediums from Boomer. What's it going to be for RDO? And Vilho's in the pits too. This looks interesting. Not so interesting anymore. Twanach doing very well in this race. Doing a lot better than we would normally expect from him. RDO for softs. Vilho for mediums. The track is now looking dry with 10 laps to go in this race, so we're looking for probably, I don't know, I think softs could make it. Maybe you'd be fast at the beginning but you'd be not so good at the end. Mediums are the safe bet here, as we have yellow flags for a crash down at turn 1 between Vilho and Wilt. No, not Wilt, sorry, Vilho's gone off on his own. I think he's got a puncture. Vilho's got a puncture, I'm going to say. Yeah, Vilho's struggling a lot. I don't know if it's still just a bit too damp for him. It kind of looked like he had a puncture, but I don't think he actually does. It might just be the track's a bit too wet for him here, which is unfortunate because he's losing time. But our front three have all come into the pits now. What kind of pit stop, as DRS is enabled, so that's perfect time from these guys. What kind of pit stop are going to get here? Softs for Morgan and Hyper Revs. Ladamala has also opted for softs. This is Pulpy, and probably everyone else is pitting right now. Yellow's in sector 2, it's Vilho facing the wrong way. Not a good second half of the race for him. Yeah, everyone is in. If it's dry, go soft. Vilho disqualified from the session for going the wrong way. Not how he wanted his race to end, I'm sure. Big mistake there from Hyper Revs as he goes off. That's going to lose him a ton of time. 5-second time penalty for corner cutting for Boomer. Now he's unable to get back fast again after that mistake, and that's dropping him to 6th, maybe 7th by the time we get to the next corner. No, I think 6th place is safe for him here. But that is a bad mistake from one of the favourites to win in this race. And I'm not sure, but that might have just given Ladamala all of the space that he needs to win this race. But I want to touch wood and not jinx anything this week. Yeah, the game's a bit stupid when it comes to disqualifications and stuff. As Hyper Revs has passed Boomer, already moving himself back up to 5th place after the earlier mistake. 3-second time penalty for Boomer and RDO there. As Boomer now under pressure from Joe into Parabolica. Remember, DRS is enabled, so this could be a bad move here from Joe. But he will have DRS of Hyper Revs to try and defend with. So maybe that's going to be enough for the Mercedes driver. It looks like it might be, but Ishtar's looking for a move on Boomer now. With those soft tyres, of course, Boomer on the mediums is losing out a lot to the guys behind him, and Tambi's looking for a way through too. Tambi, who's got back ahead of Stan, it's important to note. Tambi now, he's got ahead of Boomer. Can he look to make a move on Ishtar? Not just yet. But that's up into P8 for our championship leader, but Ishtar's very slow for that corner. Is Tambi having a look? He is, he's looking down the inside of Lesmo 1. He's got the move done and enough room is given, so all is good for these guys here. Now, he has to be careful because he's done that one corner for a DRS zone. That means he'll be the only one in this train without DRS. Is he able to defend up into Ascari? I'm sure he'll be able to, because not many people would be brave enough to make a move into Ascari. I don't think so. he's safe for now, but what he has to do is get within a second of Joe so he can get DRS in the next straight, where it is the best opportunity to overtake on the lap. He has managed to get within that second, I think. He's 9/10 now. Did he get DRS? Now is the moment of truth. He didn't get within that second, so that means he'll be under pressure from Ishtar down into turn 1, but I think Ishtar's just a little bit too far back, and he is. So unfortunately Ishtar unable to convert from that moment there from Tambi. Tambi with a slight mistake through turn 1 and 2. He locked up and then he bounced quite harshly off of that curve, so that might lose him a bit of time in the run through the Curva Grande down to the second chicane. Looking for a move there. Boomer is losing time very rapidly to these other guys, and it's a mistake for him to have pitted onto those mediums, I think. And he's regretting it quite badly now. He's losing positions all the time. He was P5 at this restart, well, after the pit stop, sorry, don't forget. So he's a long way behind where he will want to be. Soft tyres are just a bit too good here, I think. Morgan able to cling to the back of Ladamala at the moment. The gap now just above 1 second. That's a lot less than it was when they came out of the pits. Hyperrevs round the outside of Parabolica on Husam. Husam going very slowly. I think there might have been contact there between the two drivers, and Husam dropping down to 7th. But he has DRS and Tambi. Tambi, who's now looking for a move on Joe, looking to the outside of turn 1 here. That was quite dangerous from Husam, moving across like that. Lock up there from Tambi, but Husam has driven around the outside of Joe. He had the inside for the second corner, but that has meant that he got worse traction out of the second corner. That's allowed Joe to get back through before we get to the Curva Grande. Now, is Ishtar going to take this opportunity? He doesn't look like he will. He's quite far back. Husam with another corner cutting warning brings him up to another penalty in this race. Husam not looking too happy, so I think he did have contact with Hyperrevs there, which would explain why he's become so aggressive all of a sudden. Gap now between our two leaders as Hyperrevs gets another penalty in this race is just over 1 second. Morgan looking about a 10th a lap quicker than Ladamala at the moment. So this gap should be small enough for some DRS come next lap, as it's just threatening to dip below a second every time. I think Morgan's not using as much ERS here. In fact, let's have a look. That's why. He's only got 15% ERS left compared to Ladamala's full battery. And I think that is going to cost him badly for the rest of this race. He's using it now, but he's already derating by the time he's pressing the button. You can see the flashing light on the back of his car there showing that he is out of ERS. That's just when we thought it was getting interesting, but he does, I think, have DRS for this next DRS zone, maybe, as we have another incident at the second chicane. I think everyone got away with it. There was yellow flags there for a second, but it's back to normal now, as Tambi is now hunting down Hyperrevs for P4 in this race. Remember, Hyperrevs has 2 penalties, and I don't think I've seen Tambi get any, as RDO does get a second penalty there. So this might be enough at the moment for Tambi to move himself into P4 in this race, but I'm sure he wants more than that. He will want that position from pole wall, I'm sure. As will Hyperrevs, but Hyperrevs doesn't quite look like he's got the pace. Morgan is within DRS range, so hopefully he can use this as a way to save ERS for the next few laps. Just use that DRS to keep within the seconds in the straights and save his ERS, which he's not doing here. You can see he's already derating again. He needs to save ERS that he can have one big push and attack at the end of the race, because as it stands he will not get that position. He has not got enough ERS to make a move later on. Yellow flags again. It's one of the Haas drivers, as Twanach, who retires from the session. after such a positive race from him so far. Much better than what we normally see. He has manually retired from the looks of it because his car's still moving. So that is unfortunate to see. Stan with a 3-second time penalty. I thought it was going to say that Morgan had a 3-second time penalty because it happened right when Morgan cut the corner. Now I think he might have got a second warning from running wide there, but I'm not sure. Look, he's completely out of DRS. What is he? He needs to save that ERS using the DRS, but he's out of DRS now as well. He's not within DRS range. So Ladamala really, with the new fastest lap of the race of 120.8, is in control here. 0% battery left for Morgan. Ladamala 72% left. It's all looking like it's going Ladamala's way at the moment for this win. We have 3.5 laps remaining in this race. Ladamala's pushing now. He wants to get that fastest lap as low as he can as Ishtar makes a move on Joe for P6. RDO with a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limit. Joe's fighting back though through the Curva Grande. Is he going to get some curve a bit there, so slow him down? But is he going to be able to get the move around the outside of the second chicane? He's stuck it there, but he loses by hitting that curb very heavily. That's not really what you want to be doing when you go over that curb. It loses you a lot of time, but it is what it is. Very close battle here between Husam, RDO, Stan and Boomer for P8 here. So Boomer managed to catch up to the back of this train, or I don't know, maybe he stayed on the back of it from earlier, as RDO moves himself up into P8 quite easily before Ascari, but now Husam has started coming back, but he's not able to make a move because Ishtar has dropped it on the exit of Ascari and is now out of this race after that very nice move for P6. 3 wide going into Parabolica. Is Stan going to be able to get through on Husam here? He's using his ERS. Husam is Stan. Stan is definitely using his ERS. Husam with a little bit more ERS. They both have DRS now on RDO. Stan had the slipstream, so it's still looking close between these three as it's 3 wide down into turn 1. I think there was contact there, but I don't think there was any damage, as I think the back of RDO got tagged a bit there, and Stan is losing the position to Boomer. So I think that contact there affected Stan's exit, and Stan gets back past Boomer around the outside of the second chicane. Hyperrev's retired. What? He's lost it at the second Lesmo. On the exit of the first Lesmo, on the entry to the second Lesmo, he's dropped it and is out of this race. That moves everyone up another position. Tambi into P4, and he can now go and hunt down Polvi. Yeah, I saw that you've just bottled it. That's a shame. You're looking good for possibly a podium there today, Hyperrevs. Very unlucky there. But this fight is still going on as we have a ghosted... Is that a ghosted Rudy getting lapped? That's not what you want to see, considering his teammate is up in P3 in this race at the moment. And it's forced RDO quite wide there. They'll still have DRS, I'd assume. Yep. That racing point must be making it really difficult for RDO to see, spot his braking points and apexes there. I'm sure he'll want it gone ASAP. Obviously, as a backmarker, really he should be slowing down and letting these faster cars through. As in real F1, if he's gone past 3 blue flags and he's not let them through, he would be handed a penalty for ignoring blue flags. Obviously that is not a thing in the game, as he now unlaps himself by getting ahead of Husam here. So he clearly has the pace over these guys. It's just a shame that he's a lap down in last place, a minute behind the next car. RDO under pressure from Stan now. He runs wide on exit. That's going to give Stan the better exit, using his overtake mode just to try and get a small advantage, but Stan still pulls alongside, coming onto the Parabolica. Again, I've never really understood the point of making a move there. Oh, as RDO nearly loses it, but he's kept it on the road. He now will have DRS on Stan, who does not have DRS himself because he's dropped too far behind Husam, and he loses the position that he gained one corner earlier all over again. So he's done all that hard work to get ahead at Parabolica, and it's just been wasted because he's lost it with DRS. I honestly don't understand the point in making an overtaking to Parabolica. It's so much easier just to follow him through there, make the movement straight with DRS, but we've seen how many times people have attempted to move into there today, so obviously they think otherwise. As we come through the middle sector now, gaps here are all looking quite close. Morgan has already dropped back to 2 seconds behind our leader Ladder Mala at the moment, as I've suddenly realised it's the last race, it's the last lap, and Ladder Mala is coming around the final corner to win the Italian Grand Prix here in ALR. Morgan will take home second after being the pole man earlier on, and Polgui, after the disaster that was last race, finishing P11, or at least his AI finished P11, AI Polgui, has taken P3 in this race. Tambi will come home for a very solid P4 to help his chances in this championship. Joe P5, P6 will go to Husam. Stan will get P7 as Ardio had lots of penalties. Boomer will take P8 after that poor strategy call to go onto the mediums. Ardio has fallen all the way to P9, and Scolzy's moved up to P8, demoting Boomer to P9 and Ardio to P10 with that one, and Wilt will be the final driver to cross the line. He will take home P11, unfortunately for him. So, Ladder Mala back to winning ways. He had a bit of a dodgy race last time out, but that wasn't really his fault. Polby was the driver of the day, I think I'd agree with that one. But back into winning form for Ladder Mala as he closes that gap at the championship. How much points is P? I think it's 12 points for P4. So if I'm not mistaken, he got the fastest lap as well, so that would be 14 points he's closed in the championship, putting him only 35 behind our current championship leader with 5 races to go. It's getting exciting, ladies and gentlemen, with that quick maths. So yeah, we've got a championship fight on our hands. Stan, I think, really, with that P7 today, is not looking too hopeful, but he has kept his position ahead of Hyped, who was P4. Of course, Hyped retiring early on in this race, and look at those penalties. Ladder Mala, one of the very few people to not get penalties. The other drivers to not get penalties was Sculzy and Wilt. So Ladder Mala, very solid drive from him, as we've come to expect. Very consistent racer. I will quickly check the instance of the race here in case anyone needs this to be proof for a warning removal or something, you know. I'm going through it quite quickly. Hopefully you can spot your name out and everything. There you go. So our winner today, Ladder Mala, well done to him. Well done also to Morgan and Polhui for getting on the podium, but I'm sure Morgan will be quite disappointed with P2 today, considering he got a good start of pole, and really for that first half of the race didn't look like he could be touched. But Ladder Mala, after some good strategy and a good pace in the wet, got the move done and really dominated once it became dry here in Monza. So let's see what Tier 2 is up to, because if they're still racing, I'll send you all over there. Tier 2 currently... Hold on. Tier 2 finished before us. That is rare. When's the last time that's happened? I can't remember the last time Tier 2 finished before us. That's crazy. Okay. Well, in that case, I've got nowhere to send you. Which means that I'm going to ask you to check out the F3 race, which will be occurring this Sunday at 8 PM, of course, and the sprint race, which will be taking place next Tuesday, also at 8 PM British time for both of those. Sprint race, Hyped is having a bit better luck. He is currently leading the championship. As for tier 3, I don't have a clue. I don't watch it. Sorry. But thank you all for watching today. That is about it from me. So leave a like if you enjoyed. Obviously, I enjoyed that race. Hope you guys did. Feel free to comment below your driver of the day or anything like that. But apart from that, that's been it from me. Thank you all for coming, and have a good day.